Hi guys, welcome to this Q&A on OET with West London English School. So we have Harmi here. Do you want to introduce yourself, Harmi?
So my name's Harmi Baines and I'm the OET course director at West London English School. And basically that's who I am.
Great. I am Beth. I am Assistant Director of Studies at the school and also an OET teacher. So yeah, we've got some questions. Thank you for sending your questions in to us. So just between ourselves, we're going to answer them for you. If there's anything that we missed, like any questions that we don't answer that you want, just send us a message, write it in the comments, and we'll get back to you with an answer. All right, so the first question that I've got here, Harmi, is can I take the OET if I'm currently training, like to be a doctor or a nurse, I guess that is?
Sure. I mean, basically, yeah, you can. It's open to anyone, the OET exam. So even if you're not registered, you can still take the exam. But just bear in mind that in the UK, with the GMC, I think with the NMC as well, your results they're only valid for 2 years. So it's just something to bear in mind. And depending where you are around the world, you might want to check with your governing body how long your results are valid for.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, if you've got 3 years of training left, there's no need to take it because it's valid for 2 years. So if you've got 1 year of training left, then yeah, I'd say that would be a good time, but not too much before then, really. Great. Okay, we've got another question. I did IELTS and got an overall band 6.5. What is that in OET, and would I pass? Well, no, you wouldn't pass. The 6.5 IELTS is equivalent to a C plus in OET. So if you're a nurse for writing, a C plus is okay. So, you know, a 6.5 with that is all right. But for anything else, for your reading, your listening, your speaking, and for doctors as well, you need a B. So with a B, you need to get a 7 or a 7.5. So that's what you need to be aiming for. I don't know if you want to add anything, Harmi.
Not really, no. I mean, you pretty much covered it there, Beth. I think, yeah, that's what you really want to aim for, 7 to 7.5. With the exception of, I think nursing is a C plus, so you could have 6.5 for nursing with writing.
But only for writing.
Yeah, only for writing, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, someone has asked, they've said, I have a B1 level on your test. I think that means our placement test. Can I do an OET course?
With us, no, you wouldn't. I mean, really, we don't take people who are below B2 level. And the reason is that because to get the required marks, so to get 4 grade Bs or 3 Bs and a C plus if you're a nurse, you need to be at a B2 level. So, you know, what we would recommend really is working on your general English to bring up your language ability. Because really, if you're going to do the OET exam and you're at a B1 level, you're not going to pass the exam. I mean, there's lots of places who would quite gladly take your money. There's lots of colleges out there who would just accept you on the course, but normally with us, we ask you to come in and we kind of have a chat, or now we'll do like an online assessment or something, because it's not really fair to take your money if really you're just going to fail the exam. Like I said before, you're better off working on your English ability and bringing the level up until you are a B2, and then you're better off doing a course and preparing for the exam.
Yeah, I mean, one thing, if you do have a B1 level, you could do some private lessons, for example, to sort of bring your level up if you wanted to, rather than a general English group class. You know, there are kind of longer routes you can take with OET, but the way that our courses work really is you do a 4-week course and you have the exam on the Saturday. So right from those 4 weeks up till the Friday, you're doing the course with us, and then the Saturday you take the exam. And that means that you do need to have at least a B2 level. There's not really much need or much point in doing it if you're not. But
Yeah.
good question.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough exam, and you're going to be coming across some really difficult academic texts. You'll be doing some challenging listening exercises. The writing as well. You need to be able to write in a particular style. It's all quite advanced, and so there's just no point in preparing for the exam if you're not at that right level. It's really worth making sure you're at a B2. Because you're not dealing really with everyday English. You're really dealing now with advanced level English,
Yeah.
and that's really what you need to get your grade Bs in the OET. It's advanced level English.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. Someone asked, what is your top tip for exam day? What's your top tip, Harmi?
I don't know. I think the day before the exam, I'd say get lots of sleep. That would be my tip. I don't know. What about you, Beth? What would you say?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I'd say definitely get a lot of sleep. Have a big breakfast. I would say as well. You really you don't want to be hungry. It's quite a long exam, and drink a decent amount of water. But I would say don't drink too much. You can take a bottle in the exam, but you don't want to drink too much water, because if you do suddenly need the toilet and you've got to leave, you're then losing time in the exam. They're not going to stop the exam for you to go, and you don't have too many breaks at all. So yeah, I think a kind of good rest, good sleep, good breakfast. And another thing I'd say actually is that you finish the exam from your kind of the listening, the reading, and the writing, and then you might have quite a bit of a gap before the speaking. So if you can take some kind of role play cards, even if it's just sample papers or anything that say your teachers have given you, and then anybody in that room waiting to do their test, you can kind of say to them, hey, do you want to practice some speaking with me? And you'll have the role play cards there. Any kind of language that you've got, for example, if you've been studying empathetic language or how to be patient-centered, all of that kind of thing, you can have your notes in the waiting room to go through them before the exam. And that'll just help you feel a bit more kind of prepared and relaxed, I would say.
It's a good word, Beth, like when you said, make sure, you're prepared. That word prepare, in a way, the key to passing the exam is about preparation.
Yeah.
Make sure you're on good form on exam day, but it's really about everything you do before exam day. It's about the 2 weeks before that, or the 1 month, or the 2 months before that. And I think the key to really passing the exam is really prepare thoroughly for the exam. And then you'll be fine on exam day.
Yeah, definitely. That's the plan. All right, I've had another question. I passed all tests apart from speaking. What can I do? What would you suggest here, Harmi?
I mean, it's quite a general question. It's really broad. It could be for any number of reasons why you haven't passed the speaking. I think what I would say is really find a tutor to work with, or do a course. You can do courses where you just focus on speaking, so you don't need to do the reading, the listening, or the writing. And that's something I would do, is maybe find a tutor, find a course where you can actually just focus on speaking. Because if that's your weakness, that's really what you want to do. It's difficult because I don't know, I haven't seen your speaking, I haven't done any speaking with you, so I don't know where you're going wrong. It could be any number of reasons. You may need to just see the criteria and see what's expected of you. A lot of people don't realize you need to make a dialogue, a conversation, and you've got to listen to the patient as well. And you need some kind of language as well. Don't use medical language. You're dealing with a patient. Keep it kind of quite relaxed, informal. It really could be any number of reasons. But I would say try and do that. Try and get a tutor, or try and do some kind of course where you focus just on speaking, and preferably with a premium provider as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you can take some private lessons with a premium provider, it's just going to kind of give you that extra edge. And with a private tutor, they are going to be able to assess you and see exactly what you need to improve on, because sometimes you think it's your language, but they're not just marking you on your language skills. There's linguistic criteria, but there's also something that they call the clinical communicative criteria, and this is making sure that you are empathetic when you need to be, or it's kind of how you're managing to deal with a challenging patient perhaps. So working with a private tutor, they're really going to be able to pick up on what you need, and I think that's key. If you just keep practicing, this is something that's so difficult, is that with the speaking, you can't just practice with anybody. You might live with your partner or your children or whoever, but they can't really help you too much with the exam and with the practice. So I would definitely suggest having a special tutor or doing some particular speaking lessons.
I think that's a tough thing with speaking, isn't it? I think with reading and listening, you can kind of practice on your own if you have the materials. To a lesser extent with writing, because you need it marked and you need feedback. But with speaking, even if you have a speaking card, it doesn't mean a great deal. You need someone to actually work with.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, our next question. Can I use words like fortunately and unfortunately in the writing test? Well, the answer is no, not really. You don't want to be putting any of your own opinion in there at all. On the actual OET website, they specifically say do not use any of these kind of adverbs like luckily or unluckily. We don't want that kind of language because you don't want to be giving your opinion. I don't know, Harmi, if you want to add to that.
I mean, really, that's just what you say, Beth. Don't give your opinion. The OET writing, it's not that kind of writing. It's actually, it's very factual, and you kind of need to get used to these kind of medical letters where all you're doing is stating the facts in a kind of quite a formal, professional way. The patient was diagnosed with this, they were treated with this, they're on this medication, can you please do the following? It's really kind of that kind of style. Like I say, it's kind of like a report, but you're putting it into a letter. So absolutely avoid giving any kind of personal opinion at all.
Yeah, no, definitely. Great. Okay, very general question here. How long does it take to pass an OET exam? Harmi?
I mean, how long's a piece of string?
Yeah.
It depends on you. I mean, like I said before, I think the key is really preparation. If you can prepare well and prepare thoroughly, you've got a much better chance of getting through. I mean, Beth, we've worked with people who have come to us and they failed the OET exam 3 times. I've met people who have failed 4 times, and partly because they've never really done the preparation. They bought a book here or there. But if you can really prepare thoroughly, and if you can make OET your priority as you prepare, then you've got a much better chance of getting through. So I would say it's all about the preparation, and really it depends on you, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say with the by doing a kind of preparation course, you're learning just different strategies and different tips and things that will really help you. So for example, a lot of people struggle with reading part A, and it's all about speed. So by kind of going over those techniques in class and practicing those, that's something that can then really help you in the exam. And if you're just doing paper after paper after paper, it's not going to really improve your skills. So preparing definitely, but it's this is another reason why you need to have the right level, because we can't tell you how long it's going to be until you pass, but you need to initially have that kind of B2 level, because then by taking a course and, like we say, learning those strategies, that will then enable you to be able to pass. So you've got to make sure that you're at the right level of English. There's no point if you're at sort of B1 level or below don't even attempt to do it, because you've got to get your level up there before you even start to practice.
And I would say as well, make it your priority as well. I mean, we do 4-week courses, 3-week courses, however long you're studying, make OET your priority.
Yeah.
It's difficult sometimes. People that they're working and they've got their jobs, or they've got families, they've got other commitments. But really, you want to make OET your priority as you prepare. If you've booked the exam or you're planning to book the exam, make sure you live, eat, and breathe OET. And I mean, when you study with us, it's almost like it's quite full on. You're doing a lot of work, but that's the way to do it. Is really. Again, like I said before, just prepare thoroughly, make it your priority. And if you can do that, if you're at the right level, you've got a good chance of getting through. But it's really not easy. It takes hard work and dedication.
And it's not just work in class, it's homework as well. There's there's so much that you can do to prepare for it. Okay, I've got last question here that we've got today. So someone asked, is my bad pronunciation a fail in OET? Oh dear, that's a miserable question for our last one. Well, no. Well, it's got a happy answer. If you're kind of conscious about your pronunciation or your accent, no, it's if that's the only issue that you've got with your speaking, you are not going to fail your speaking exam. Like we said before, it's marked in different ways. So there's the linguistic criteria, and there's intelligibility, which is part of that. And this is just making sure that you are able to be understood. So if you're speaking to someone and they understand you, they are checking that how you pronounce words, your kind of stress, your intonation. They do check that. But if you if you're understandable, then you'll be fine. And there's loads of other criteria. There's 9 criteria in total for speaking, and intelligibility is just one of them.
Yeah. I mean, I'd agree totally, Beth. I mean, everyone has an accent. This is a language exam. It's a language test, so they expect you to have an accent. So don't worry about it. The key is, as long as the patient, the recipient, the interlocutor, as long as they can understand you, as long as the examiners can understand you, that's all you really want to worry about. But I wouldn't worry about having an accent, as long as it doesn't interfere with your with the meaning that you're trying to communicate. We all have accents. I've got accents. Beth has got an accent. She's got a beautiful accent.
Harmi likes to make fun of my accent.
Yeah, lots of people do, because she's from the north of England, but can't blame her for that, really. But everyone does have an accent. It's perfectly natural. And I wouldn't say don't worry about it, as long as it's not too strong and interfering with meaning.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. All right. Well, we are going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, like I said, we've had so many questions. We've broken it down into 2 parts. So this is the first part. Next Friday we will release the second half of the Q&A. So thank you for joining us, and good luck. If you have any questions, write them in the comments, send us a private message, and we'll make sure that we get them answered for you. Right?
Cheers.
Okay. Bye.